Hey y'all, it's Katie. Welcome back to From My Vanity, and welcome to a long overdue chit chat, get ready with me type of video where I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update on me, my family, how we've been doing. I feel like I've mentioned in a couple videos, like, yeah, I need to do just kind of like a life update and let you guys know kind of what's been happening over the summer, just because I feel like we've been really out of touch. It's just either been no videos at all or jumping back into makeup videos. So I figured for those who care and want to know a little bit more about me and like how this summer's been, how the pregnancy's been, my family, and stuff like that, I would do this video today. I ended up having to go to a doctor's appointment first thing in the morning at 9 o'clock, so I didn't have time to get ready, so I just put the kids to bed for their naps in the afternoon, and I figured I need to do another video. I'm gonna have to get ready anyway. Let's just chit chat a bit and we'll see if I can get my makeup done quickly. I feel like I typically, especially when I talk, take like 45 minutes to an hour, but I'm shooting for a half an hour, so I'm gonna be watching the clock, and I figured I'll just catch you up a little bit, try to be brief so it's not long and drawn out and boring. But yeah, I need to put my makeup on, and I figured I'd talk with you guys as I do it. So let's jump into it. I am sick. I just got a cold. Today I'm definitely better, but still sound terrible. So please excuse the nasally sound. This video is not going to be talking so much about the products, but you can check the description box and I'll list everything. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my Whalesong palette. So one of the questions or comments was someone was asking why we moved, because that's definitely something we did this summer. We moved when I was 9 weeks pregnant, I think. I forget exactly how far along. I wasn't too far along because we moved up when we were supposed to move because I found out I was pregnant. So we were in Virginia for the past 4 years because my husband he's a doctor and he was doing his residency to become a radiologist. And so this past spring he finished and he's now working at his first job, and yeah, that's why he moved. It just so happened that we were able to move and get placed here in Florida, which is near my family. We weren't sure if we were going to end up here, but I am super grateful. My side of the family lives down here in Florida. We're like less than an hour away from all of my brothers and sisters. If you don't know, I come from a relatively large family. I have 11 other brothers and sisters. Only 2 of my siblings are married at the moment. But it's been really nice to be back. I am living, like I said, within an hour of all of my family, and it's been amazing for my kids to be able to see their aunts and their, grandparents and then their cousins on basically a weekly basis. That's been pretty special. It's been pretty amazing just since, 4 years. My daughter's going to turn 4 this year, so her whole life has kind of been always long distance with her cousins and her aunts and uncles and grandparents. So right now we're able to be near my side of the family, and she has 4, 5, 6 cousins that are relatively close to her in age living here between my 2 siblings that are married. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really neat. It's been really special, and I am very, very grateful to be able to have this kind of experience and just, be able to reconnect with my family, because as close as my family and I feel like my family and I are, when you live long distance, you just lose touch in some aspects and whatnot. It happens. You're not seeing each other as often and whatnot. So I've really been enjoying living close, and then also Olivia and Gideon able to see their cousins and their aunts and uncles and grandparents, or one set of grandparents. So yeah, that is why we moved. It just turned out, story of my life, but it just turned out to be a really difficult time to move because we found out we were pregnant. It's not like we were planning or trying to get pregnant at this time. It just happened, and it just happened to be right during a huge move, which is funny because when I got pregnant with Olivia, I moved across country from California to Virginia for him to start his residency, and I think I was like 16 weeks pregnant, and we drove like U-Haul and all that across country. I do not recommend that, so my mom jokes that I have impeccable timing when it comes to having children. So anyway, yeah, that is why we moved. I feel like I took a long break because I was sick, and then I was like, hey, I'm back, and then I kind of disappeared again for a month or 2. I think it was just maybe a month that I kind of stopped posting, and it was mainly because my husband I think I started posting right around the time when he was finished up with residency up there and he had moved down, and we, you know, reconnected and we're all living together. Because if you didn't know, I moved down to Florida 2 months. It was roughly 2 months before my husband was done with his residency to try to get down here and settled before I started getting sick. So yeah, we lived apart. He was up in Virginia. We were down here for 2 months. So I want to say I started, you know, I came and did my whole "hey, I'm coming back" video right around when he moved back down. And then he had a month kind of break from work, and I think that's the majority of the time when I didn't post, because he just took time off and we reconnected. It's been a long process in residency, a long couple years. If you are married to a doctor or know or have a family friend who's in the medical field and a doctor, you know that residencies are tough. And like radiology residency is relatively easy, considering like not relatively easy, I shouldn't say that because my husband would probably be like, hey, but it's relatively family friendly, I would say. They're still, I mean, they're gone a lot, but a lot of my husband's residency was kind of independent studying. Like a lot of residencies, when the doctors go to become, you know, specialized in something, they're at the hospital for days and hours, and the majority of your day that you're awake or asleep, they're at the hospital. So radiology is nice in that they have long days, but you still, like, we saw my husband every night. You know, my kids got to see their daddy come home every night. It was always super late and right before bed, but at least they got to see him before they went to sleep. And then some weekends they even got for him to have a weekend off and whatnot. So that is a little abnormal for doctors going through residency, and especially depending, like I said, it depends on the residency you're going through. I mean, surgery, I want to say, is like 5 or 6 years of residency, and you're never seen really. So anyway, residency is tough, and when he finished, we just wanted to kind of be a family, feel like a normal family again, feel like I had a husband, my kids feel like they had a daddy. And it was great. It was really nice. And I think that's kind of when I just took a step back and I was like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this time before he starts back in work. I have no idea what work is going to be like once he gets back into it. Like, I had no idea what my YouTube would be like once he started work, because I was thinking, you know, if my husband comes home, I don't know, at 3, 4, I'm not going to, you know, I want to have that time with him. So I don't know if I'll be able to edit and upload as frequently as I have been while he's been going through residency. Because one of the reasons I can is my husband was absent a lot during the last 4 years because he was gone, or if he was home, he had to study, and so he was gone. Like, he was in the house, but he would be studying and reading his books, and I would be sitting next to him on the computer editing because I couldn't talk to him. So that's how we spent time together. But anyway, so I wasn't sure what my YouTube channel would be like after we finished, but good news for you guys, I guess, because you still get frequent videos. But bad news for our family, right around when he started, we discovered that this job, this position that he has as a radiologist, isn't as cush, I guess you could say, as most radiologist jobs are. In that, basically, the radiologists that work there, like, he's one of a couple other guys, they're kind of I don't even know what you would call it, but they're basically understaffed. They don't have enough radiologists working at this hospital for the amount of studies that they have to see and they have to, you know, read and whatnot. So I sometimes joke, trying to laugh, because I'm that person that's like, you know, hey, I don't want to cry over this, so I gotta laugh. So I try to laugh over it, but some days it feels like we are still in residency because he comes home right before the kids go to bed. Honestly, most days he comes home 6, 7, which is depressing. And I think it's just mostly depressing because we had expected, and our expectations were that we would see him more now that we were down here. So honestly, that's also one of the reasons I didn't jump right back into my regular uploads. I was honestly dealing with just processing that and learning to live with that. I'm pregnant, so life is a lot harder, and part of me was like, you know, hey, as soon as my husband gets down here, it's going to be so much easier because I'll have his help, like, I don't know, most, shouldn't say normal, because I'm sure a lot of people, I'm not like special over here not having a husband, but I feel like most families are able to have their husbands helping them out, or most families, most wives are able to have their husbands helping them out with raising the kids. And you know, the last 4 years I've been doing it solo, and so I had this high expectation set up of like, oh, as soon as we get down here, I'm gonna be near family, they'll be able to help. I have my husband again, and he'll be able to help, not only help with the, you know, raising our children, but just being there and having another adult handy. And it's not really turning out that way. So for me, I'm never someone who really likes to just complain, you know. Life is what it is, and you got to find a way to work with what you've been given. So that's one of the reasons I really haven't come out really, you know, sooner than this. I haven't really come out with a update video just because, honestly, not that I was depressed. I don't want to say I have depression or anything, but it's definitely, it was a struggle. It was a struggle for me to get to the point where it's like, you know what, Katie, it's going to be okay. Maybe, you know, they'll be able to get another radiologist here in another year. Hopefully, once the baby comes, you'll have more energy. I'm trying to look at the positives. You know, it's not as bad as residency because I have my family here, so I just, I'm able to ask my sisters, like, hey, you want to come stay with me for a couple days just to give me a breather? My ankles are swollen, my feet hurt. Can someone just come and pick up the stuff off the floor? Because it's a long way down and whatnot. So I'm trying to focus on the positives, and it just took me a little while, a little bit of adjusting and accepting. And I feel like now I'm kind of able to talk about it with a positive outlook. My husband too took a little while, you know. Gosh, he was expecting to have better hours and be able to see his kids more too. So it just took us both a little while. But you know what? It is what it is. So the job isn't as good as we had anticipated coming out here, but we are still extremely blessed in being able to be close to family. We're still extremely blessed in having more of Daddy, because even though he comes home, like I said, right before bedtime some days, most days, it is nice that when he comes home and on the weekends, he doesn't have to read. Like, yes, he still has to, you know, study and keep up on things, and, you know, he still has to study. But like when we were going through residency, he would come home and at the bare minimum at least have to read and study every night for at least an hour. And when you come home at 6 or 7, your kids go to bed around 8, and you have to read. He would often, even on the days when he got home earlier than that, he'd have to go up and read for an hour or 2 or 3. So that was still tough, and you know, that's one of the reasons we didn't see him much, is because even when he was home, it was like, oh no, you got to get that reading in, going through residency. And you know, it was tough. So I'm very thankful here that even though he does have to read, and some days he's kind of like, man, you know, I haven't been reading, I needed to get it done, and he'll come home and take some time while the kids and I are doing something, or if we're running out for an errand or whatnot, I'll take the kids so he can read. It's still better than residency because he doesn't have to read every single night for hours. So I'm very thankful for that, and just trying to focus, like I said, focus on the positive. And yeah, so a little life update there. I'm going to do my wing liner. Ooh, I kind of like how that blue and green mesh there. Cool. Let me put this liner on, and then we'll move on to my face. There we go. I'm just using some of my micellar water to clean up. Honestly, not bad with the cleanup, like the fallout, especially considering how pigmented these shades are. So anyway, yeah, sitting here thinking about that. I hope I don't come off as complaining or anything. Like, we're fine. We're good. We're really happy. Our family is doing good. We, you know, just have some more rough spots, or it's just a little more rougher than we anticipated. I hope I didn't come across as complaining or anything like that. Always a little bit weird to talk about things that aren't absolutely positive, but life's not always, you know, roses and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with my husband and his job. Let me zoom you out a touch. What am I going to talk about now? Let's talk about baby as I get ready. I'm going to use this stuff and my stipple brush. Let that soak in a minute. So right now at the time of this recording, I am almost 34 weeks pregnant, I believe it is. So yes, I am in the home stretch. So if I sound like I am forever gasping, it's because I am. I can't breathe. But yeah, we're big. It's funny though, because I look almost identical in the shape of my belly as I was when I had Gideon, but Olivia, I was very different. I feel like I was more proportionally rounded and just big all over, if that makes sense. I don't know, I felt like I had a normal baby belly. Maybe if I can find it, I'll put a picture of Olivia when I was this far along. And then here's Gideon at the same time, and I feel like when I carry boys, I just like, I don't know if it's just them being a boy or how they sit in my stomach or what, but I feel like I just torpedo out stick straight out of my tummy. It's just like, come on, can't you just relax a little bit so you don't look like you got a torpedo, like you swallowed a torpedo for lunch or something? Anyway, yeah, right now I'm 34 weeks pregnant, as I said. Just got back from the doctors, going every 2 weeks. Everything's good. So I have really large babies. Olivia was 4 pounds 3 ounces. She was overdue, and I tore really bad. If you at all are interested or have had babies before, I had a 4-degree tear. Like I forget how they describe that. 4th degree, number 4. I had something like that. I had a really bad tear when she came out because she was so big. She got stuck. She had a dislocated shoulder. So with Gideon, and oh my gosh, recovering from being sewn up, like from tearing, is 10 times worse than delivering. Oh my goodness. So when I got pregnant with Gideon, I was like, I don't want to tear. Like, I don't want to tear. Oh my goodness, that the first week after delivering Olivia was horrendous. So anyway, with Gideon, we induced early to see, you know, to try and have a smaller baby to see if that would help me not tear, because it's also not good for a woman to tear every time she has a baby, because that causes problems. Okay, I just turned it down because I felt like I was washed out. But yeah, so they didn't want me to tear anymore, and we went early, a couple days early with Gideon. He was 8 pounds exactly, and I only had minor, super minor, they call it like a skid mark. It was such a minor tear. So with this baby, we're also going to shoot to go early. We're going to keep an eye on him, but shoot to go early to prevent tearing, because this mama would like to keep her parts intact. Trying to come up with a name. Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's just because we have one of each and we've already kind of used, or you know, been able to use our favorites that we've had forever. Like Olivia was a name that I have loved for years, I feel like. And then Gideon was a name that we both, you know, had read like during a family devotions one night when I was pregnant with Olivia, before we found out that she was a girl, and we were like, ooh, I really like the name Gideon. Let's do, like, I want to name our son that. And then Olivia was a girl, so we just kind of held on to Gideon, and then when we got pregnant with our second child, it was like, well, if it's a boy, we'll name him Gideon, and he was a boy, so we had those two names. Just were so easy to come and just hear and be like, yes, I like that name. I can see myself calling my child that for forever. It's a beautiful name and we love it. With this third baby, we have names that we like. I'll hear the name and be like, yes, I like that, but it's not a name that I like love, if that makes sense. It's not a name that I'm just like, yes, that is it. Which was the case with Olivia and Gideon. I just felt like I heard him, I was like, yes, that's it. So we're at 30-something weeks over here and we still don't for sure have a name. We'll have a name by the time we take him home from the hospital. So yeah, that's where we're at with baby. The kids, Gideon and Olivia, are doing great. I can't believe at the end of the year, if you didn't know, this baby will make all 3 of our babies born in December. For some reason, that's apparently the only time we can deliver a child. And Olivia's birthday is at the beginning of December, and then Gideon's birthday is at the end of December. So Olivia's going to be 4 this year, and Gideon is going to be 2. They're Gideon definitely. I remember when I was pregnant with Gideon, Olivia went through that phase probably around this time of just being super clingy because they just know you know, we talk about it too, but I don't know if Gideon fully understands what it means to, hey, mom's having a baby, but there's just something in a child that knows things are changing and he doesn't like it too much, so he's extremely, extremely clingy. But yeah, so he's really clingy, which is hard because when you get, I don't know, this pregnant, you're not supposed to lift anything over 20 pounds, and he's over 20 pounds. So it's been difficult, but we're weathering it. We'll be fine. I'm curious to see how he reacts when we bring the new little man home, because Olivia, oh my goodness. She was around the same age. Obviously, they were both born in December, but she was just turned 2 when we brought Gideon home, and she had a really rough transition. Like nothing, thankfully nothing against Gideon. Like she absolutely loved Gideon, but me, she was not a fan of. Like me taking the time to feed the baby, oh no, like you don't need to feed that baby, mommy, you need to hold me kind of thing. Like she really lashed out, not lashed out, but just, that was a reaction, and she got angry at me. So I'm curious to see how Gideon goes when we bring the baby home and what kind of a transition it is. Like I said, Olivia was a really rough transition, like full-on 2-year-old temper tantrums for the first month every day. Oh yeah. So I'm prepared for that. So hopefully maybe Gideon will surprise me and be better. But if he's just like his sister, I think I'm prepared. But I'm just looking forward to feeling normal again. This pregnancy has been the hardest by far on just exhaustion level. And I think that's a common thing I hear, you know, when you have multiple kids, is that each pregnancy, you're getting older with each pregnancy, but it gets harder on your body. But, you know, one of the reasons I think is just because you have kids to take care of. So like when I was pregnant with Olivia, it wasn't fun. I had morning sickness way longer than the first trimester. I think I started feeling over morning sickness around the 20-week mark. Gideon was well after 20 weeks, and it kind of stayed. Like if I just got enough sleep, I felt better, but for the most part, I had nausea the whole time with Gideon. And with this child, I had nausea the whole time. And I think it does have a lot to do with the rest factor, because like Olivia, I remember I would go to sleep at like 8 or 9 at night when I was pregnant with Olivia, and sleep all night till like 8 or 9 the next morning. So get solid, not solid because you have to get up to pee all the time, but get like, 12 hours of sleep. And then with when I was pregnant with Gideon, I was taking care of Olivia, and she would have times where she wouldn't sleep well at night and stuff like that. So anytime that happened, I would definitely feel more nauseous the next day. And then with this one, Gideon is a terrible sleeper, so he's forever waking up in the middle of the night. Like, it's very rare for me to get solid sleep. And that's another thing. Also, Olivia, I think I've mentioned on Instagram, so I should touch on it briefly. Olivia this summer went through just periods of throwing up in the middle of the night. So let me just finish my conversation. I'm all over the place. I'm so sorry. But anyway, because I'm up and not getting the rest, and I think that's why I have more nausea. So yeah, that's just why I think each pregnancy gets a little harder, because you have little ones to care for. So anyway, yeah, I forgot about that update. Olivia, for the longest time, was throwing up. Not longest time. She went through, I think it was a period of 2 or 3 months, where she probably woke up in the middle of the night and threw up 6, 8 times. Sporadically. I never knew when it would happen. It would just be randomly in the middle of the night. She'd wake up and throw up, and then I'd have to go and change her. She'd throw up for a couple hours, but by 10 o'clock that day, the next day, she was fine. She'd throw up like 5 times total and then be done. And I was just like, the first couple times I was like, oh my gosh, you got the stomach bug again. Like, oh my goodness. But then, after the 3rd, then 4th, then 5th, I'm just like, this isn't normal. Like, why are you throwing up? And then also too, no one else would ever get sick. Like Gideon never threw up, I never threw up, and like no one ever got sick. So I was just, we knew something was up. Finally went to take her to the doctors. I want to wear one of these lipsticks, but I don't know which one will match the best. I'm gonna do this one. All right, there we go. This is the Growler. Not sure it really goes with this look, but that's what we're doing. Anyway, took her to the doctor. Turns out she just struggles really badly with constipation. And didn't know this, but it's very common in kids when they get to a point of being so constipated and backed up that when they eat right before going to bed, which is quite common because I'm pregnant, I graze a lot, so I have to eat a tiny bit every couple hours. So it's inevitable that the kids see me and are like, hey mom, I want some too. So it was very common in recent months for her to eat just before going to bed. But anyway, kids can throw it back up because they're so backed up, their bodies can't digest it and then they're laying down for long periods of time, it just comes back up. So we've been working on that, getting her system working. Oh wait, I need to do my lower lash line. So we've been working on getting her more, rounded diet, more balanced, trying to get her body to be able to just keep up on its own. I wasn't too shocked. Unfortunately, Olivia, even from a baby, like, she was sensitive to dairy. She was always struggling with constipation on and off. So yeah, so that's why I feel like this past summer, if you follow me on Instagram, you constantly kept seeing me say like, hey, kids are sick again, Olivia's throwing up again, we caught the bug again. But it wasn't the bug, it was just Olivia dealing with some constipation issues. So we've been better. We have hits or misses, depending on, it's hard because like life never just lets you do one thing. We're traveling, we're, visiting family, we're going places and eating, we have birthday parties. So trying to keep on top of that is just like a new added thing for me. It's like always trying to make sure she's taking vitamins, probiotics, fiber, lots of fiber in her diet and stuff like that. So we've, hit or miss. Sometimes she'll still have an episode at night, but at this point, I think it's been like a month or nearly a month since the last time she threw up, so I'm so thankful. But that was rough too, and that was something we were going through and just kind of made my pregnancy harder, is that like I would go to bed at night so exhausted, and then, when you're a mom, you never really shut off being a mom, so I'd be so tired, but I'd keep waking up because I would just be like, is Olivia going to throw up? Like, is she okay? Does she need me? And so I'd constantly be checking on her and whatnot in the middle of the night, or, the nights when I really needed that sleep, that'd be a night she would throw up and I'd have to be up with her, helping her throw up and stuff like that and cleaning up and whatnot. So yeah, that's another reason that this past summer has just been really difficult. This whole pregnancy has just had an added level of difficulty with that thrown on top. And then, as I said, my husband's, when he started his, new job here, it's just long hours. So there would be some days, Olivia would wake up in the middle of the night, throw up. She'd be kind of sick on the couch. I'd be feeling sick because of not getting enough sleep, and he wouldn't come home till like 6, 7, 8. And I'd just be like, please come home. I just want to crawl into bed and go to sleep. Okay, I think I am done. I feel like I need to change my shirt if I'm going to record another video because this is clashing. Yes, that is my very rambly, very scattered life update. All right, so here is the finished look. I really like how it turned out. Like I said, the shirt, don't pay attention to the shirt. Like, cover it up, and I feel like that looks pretty. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. As I said, I just want to put this video up for those who are interested, for those who have asked, that way you guys know. But anyway, yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Here's some close-ups of this look if you want to see up close and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this outro very short and sweet. Thank you so much for listening if you've made it to the end. Thank you so much for caring to hear about my life. I feel like I always struggle with, giving you guys a more of a look into my life, just because I think you won't really care, like, who really cares, Katie, about your life? But at the same time, I know for me, when I watch my favorite YouTubers, I love getting a little snapshot into their life and getting to hear how they're doing. I just think of like Smokey Glows. I love her Talktorial Tuesdays where she does, uses an eyeshadow palette to create a look, but then she gives you a little update on her life. And I've noticed that I really enjoy listening to those and just hearing how she's doing. So I figured I would sit down and give you this little update since I had the time, or I had the time without kids to get ready today. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for caring, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.